Darren started driving monster trucks, I believe, just outside of college. So he's been driving, I believe, 12 to 13 years. He's got a bachelor's in sociology and criminal justice from Montana State. So on the weekends when he went through college, he volunteered for a team. He's always loved monster trucks. I grew up going to monster truck shows or rallies, whatever you call it. Therefore, when I first met Darren, which would have been in 2009, he was out in my hometown with a monster truck just on display. So like where people can come down at the show and they can meet the driver and think, that's all it was doing. We were just down on display. So I walked up and met him and I'm like, this is really cool. Never seen one of these up and close. Well, him and I had instant chemistry. We met, connected over phone and FaceTime and calls just like you and I are doing. And from that point on, so that was in April of 2009. In December of 2009, he asked me to be his wife. And then we were married in 2011, May of 2011. So he has been doing monster trucks this whole time. I started going to shows with him, volunteering, working on his truck. He would teach me things, et cetera, et cetera. And throughout that time, I realized that I still have a competitive nature in my soul. I grew up riding and showing horses, so I competed on 4 legs instead of 4 wheels. So at that point, I think it was probably in those first 2 years from, I would say like 2010, 11 is when I really was like, it would be really cool to drive one of these trucks. Did I ever think that would come true? No.
Amazing.
I'm so honored.
Oh, I bet. So did you have a love for driving when you were younger, or was it like you said you competed competitively in horse riding?
So I have always had a love and a knack for things that go fast and that have horsepower. So nice. I wouldn't necessarily say I've always had a streak in love for racing, so to speak, but for horsepower and loud things.
Sure. Okay. So tell me about your specific journey then. How did you, obviously, you were going in the shows and then decided you wanted to drive. So tell me a little bit more in detail about that.
Well, I've always said that first and foremost, I wanted to establish my career on my own because I did marry young and I had not had my career established. Darren did. So it was super hard for me in the beginning years because there was really no opportunity for me to drive because I was so devoted in being in school and pursuing my nursing career that I kind of just went and crewed on the weekends when I could. And I would probably hit with Darren maybe 2 to 3 weekends a month, which is still a lot. And then I would also work at the hospital and then go to school. So that journey led into, I went through nursing school after I moved to St. Louis, finished nursing school, worked as a staff nurse in the ER for that hospital for, 3.5 years, did pediatric transport team at that same hospital. So I would fly in the helicopter and drive the ambulance with sick kiddos from hospital to hospital. And at that point, I decided I don't like doing this anymore. This is very taxing. It was a very emotionally involved job to see very, very sick children and having to watch parents go through things like that. So I stepped out of that role and stepped into being a travel nurse. Well, the travel nurse situation opened up this whole opportunity for monster truck driving for me because I could take time off in between my contracts if I wanted to go to the shows, which is what I did when I came to Europe. I took an extended amount of time off. I think I took probably 3 months off from being a nurse to come drive monster truck. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Exactly. Amazing.
Yeah. So what's it like when you're getting ready for a show and you're getting into the car? Like, how do you prep for that? And
that's tough. When my first weekend in a show, so the Hot Wheels Live Europe tour was my first tour and performances in the monster truck in front of audiences. Yes. Yeah. So my driving career essentially started last summer, and I only had a few testing sessions before I was put into the arena with the other guys who have, let me tell you, all of them have driven for many, many years. Yeah. They had a lot of experience on me. So for me, the first weekend, I was a nervous wreck. Like, there was no routine with Rebecca trying to get ready to get in the truck. After that weekend, I kind of developed a routine where I would go into the dressing room, I'd get myself ready, and it was kind of hard because I'm the one female, and all the other guys are in their room, and they're all carrying on like guys do. But one of the wives from one of the drivers, she would come over and braid my hair, because trying to get hair in a helmet is very difficult. So she'd come over, braid my hair. We'd listen to some music. Then I would go out, and what I found that for me, while some of the other guys, they like to stay back and don't like to see the crowd, for me, going out and enjoying the crowd's energy back to me was my favorite, because I would go out and just dance in front of my truck. It's a good activity to get yourself worked up and getting ready in the truck, and you get to see how much they're getting ready to enjoy the performance that we're going to do.